everyone, this is Yohan, and today I would love to share this simple 4-liter clutch project with you. The finished measurements are about 10.5 inch by 8.5 inch by 1 inch. So it is on the larger side, which is awesome. It comes with a wristlet strap and also a zipper pocket in the interior. You can find the list of measurements in my blog post at yohansewingstudio.com. I will put the link in the description box down below. And they should appear on the screen as well, which I usually do. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it. For the main body panel, you want to cut 2 identical rectangles for the exterior and the lining. Okay, first we're gonna work on the zipper tabs. So you want to lay the zipper tab panel with the right side facing, matching the edges just like that, and then stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once you've done that, you want to trim the seam allowance of the zipper tab down to about 1/4 inch. This will help to reduce a little bit of the bulk. Do not trim the zipper, just the zipper tab, okay? Now flip the zipper tab towards the right side, just like that, and then you can finger press along the seams. Now fold the zipper tab over to the wrong side, all the way in until you can feel the edge of the zipper along the fold of the zipper tab, and then top stitch along the edge there. Repeat the same to the opposite side. So the length of your zipper should remain the same, which is 11 inches. Okay, next we're gonna work on the interior zipper pocket. So you wanna first draw the zipper template, just like shown on the screen right now. As usual, you wanna draw the line on the center and the little corner triangles. Now position the zipper pocket panel on the right side of interior panel with the right side facing down, about 1 inch from the top edge. You wanna center the position, of course. Secure with some pins, and then stitch along the outline of the template. Cut through the center line and the corner triangles. Just be careful not to cut through the stitches as you get to the corners. Once you've done that, you wanna flip the pocket to the wrong side. Finger press to neaten everything. Apply some basting tape along the edges of the zipper tape. Peel the top paper layer off the basting tape. Now position the template on top of the zipper. Make sure to center the position. Finger press so that the basting tape will be sticking to the fabric, and then stitch all around the edges of the template to secure the zipper. Once you've done that, you wanna trim off any excess zipper. Now bring the bottom edge of the pocket towards the top of the pocket, basically folding it in half. Pop a couple of pins to secure it, and then stitch the sides and the top edges with about 3/8 inch seam allowance. And make sure to get the main panel out of the way when you sew the pocket. And that's it guys, the zipper pocket is done. Okay, next we're gonna work on the D-ring tab. So we're gonna use a 1/2 inch leather or 4-letter strip. So we're gonna punch a couple of holes to install the rivets. For the first hole, you wanna measure 1/4 inch from the edge and then mark it right on the center. From that mark, you wanna measure 3/8 inch and then put a little mark also on the center. Now attach the D-ring and then slide that to the center. Fold the strip in half. Then punch holes along the marking points. Make sure to go through both layers. Punch a hole on the front main body panel about 1¼ inch from your left hand side and 1 inch from the top. Now you want to match this hole with the second hole of the D-ring tab, the one closer to the D-ring, and then install a rivet according to the manufacturer's instructions. Now punch another hole on the main body panel exactly on the same spot as the first hole, and then go ahead and install the rivet. Next, we're gonna make the wristlet strap. So you wanna use the same 4-letter or letter strip, 1/2 inch wide and 15 inch long. Mark the position for the rivet. So first you wanna measure 3/8 inch from one end of the strip. And from this point, you wanna measure another 3/8 inch and then mark it also on the center. Now on the opposite end, you wanna attach the swivel hook. So you wanna slide the swivel hook about 1½ inch from the edge and then fold the edge over just like so. Now bring the remaining end of the strap towards the swivel hook. Just make sure that everything is nice and aligned, just like shown on the screen right now. And then use a sewing clip to temporarily hold it. Then you want to punch holes at the marking points. Again, you want to make sure to go through all the layers. And once you've done that, you want to install the rivets. And there you have it. The wristlet strap is done. Now it's time to assemble the clutch. So with the front exterior panel facing right side up, you want to apply basting tape along the top edge. Peel the paper backing off. Now lay the zipper with the right side facing down and make sure to center the position. Now the start of the zipper should be at your left hand side or the same side as the D-ring tab. Apply basting tape along the edges of the zipper and then take the front lining panel and lay that right side down. Match the top and the side edges and then finger press to make sure that the basting tape will adhere to the fabrics. Once everything is secured, you want to stitch with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now let's turn this right side out. Press the seams, both the exterior and the interior, and then top stitch. Now you want to repeat the same to the back panels. Alright, once the zipper is attached, first you want to make sure to unzip the zipper. We're going to separate the exterior from the interior. So the exterior panels should be right sides together and the interior panels should be right sides together. Match the seams of the top exterior panel there, just like so. So the zipper should be sitting on the interior side. And then you can secure that edge with the sewing clip. Repeat the same to the opposite side. Continue pinning all along the exterior side. Now we're gonna stitch the exterior. So you wanna start from the top and then go all the way down and then back to the top. And for this, we're gonna use 3/8 inch seam allowance. When you start at the top there, make sure that your needle is out of the way from the zipper tab. Now if you need to compromise the seam allowance a little bit, maybe reduce it a little bit in order to avoid the zipper tab, it's totally fine. But just make sure that you're not stitching through the zipper tab. And the same goes as you approach the opposite side. Make sure that your needle is out of the way from the zipper tab. Now trim the corners. Be careful not to cut through the stitches. Now we're gonna box the bottom corners. So you wanna open this up. Match the bottom and the side seams. So you wanna open the seams just like that. And then stitch about 1/2 inch away from the edge. Let's repeat the same to the opposite side. Alright guys, now it's time to sew the lining. So we're gonna do this pretty much the same way. However, at the bottom of the lining there, you want to make sure to leave an opening about 5 inches or so to turn the clutch inside out later. So you want to stitch starting from the top, continuing the seams from the exterior side. Make sure there is no gap there, is very important. Now you want to start stitching at 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then as you go down, you want to increase your seam allowance to 1/2 inch. This will make the lining fit snugly, and then you want to continue to the opposite side and then stop at the opening mark. Once you've sewn the lining, you want to box the corners exactly the same way as the exterior. Now trim off the excess fabric around the box corners down to about 1/4 inch or so. Through the opening hole, you want to turn the clutch right side out. Now you can pop out the zipper tabs on both sides. Fold the raw edges of the opening hole towards the wrong side about 1/2 inch and then stitch along the edges to close the opening. Now let's place the lining back inside, and that's pretty much it. You can now attach the wristlet strap and voila, your clutch bag is done. So thank you so much for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and until next time, goodbye.